Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villagesori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them. Speaking of merch, we finally got some badass merch for you beautiful people.
Well, that's the stuff we've been talking about. We're just going to be able to get it accomplished now. So.
Yes, sir. You see Shorty over here with the Buccaneers hat that looks backwards because we've got it in mirror mode. Shout out to the New England Patriots and the big homie Tom Brady. We had a pretty interesting weekend, ladies and gentlemen. We went to a corn show on Friday, and then we went to the Goat Bowl.
Yeah, this is why you need to jump on our Instagram so you can see what's up and what we've been doing. Also,
that's
Facebook,
true.
Both of those places are gonna, one person was like, I was gonna shout out to him, but maybe he wouldn't want to be shouted out. I guess he sent me a bunch of emails, a bunch of messages to respond to him. Then he was like, "Oh wait, I just realized on Instagram that you guys were out of town. Sorry about that." So shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to the homie. Shout out to the homie. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a DJ stream. This is DJ Jules, as you can see down your screen here. That's DJ Jules. He is going to be our DJ tonight. He chooses the songs that we do. If you want one, send us an email. VinandSori@gmail.com. Having said that, the first song on the docket, shout out to Delaney, shout out to Rip. The first song on the docket is Faith No More, which, speaking of Faith No More, I'm pretty sure that it was their bassist that filled in for Fieldy when we went to the show. So there you go. So there is a connection to Korn there, and so that is very, very important. Okay.
All right.
Now here we go. Faith No More, Just a Man. Let's do it.
Smooth sounding.
That sounds like some Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Every little thing.
I
though often he has sought, like Icarus, to fly too high, and far too lonely than he ought, to kiss the sun of east and west, and hold the world at his behest, to hold the terrible power to whom only gods are blessed. But me, I am just a man. And every night I shut my eyes, so I don't have to see the light. Shame about a cloudy sky, about a cloudy sky. And every night I shut my eyes, I got them open wide. You're falling into my hands, and now you're burning me, and now you're burning me. And every night I shut my eyes. Alright, about a cloud, and I shut my eyes. Shining so bright, about a cloudy sky, about a cloudy sky, a cloudy sky. Don't dream about that
So that was Simple Man. Was that Simple Man? No. Faith No More. What was the name of the song? Just a Man, not Simple Man.
Just a Man.
What did you think the song was about?
I don't know. I wasn't reading the lyrics.
It was weird because at first
What did you think about the song?
I was
That's a
like,
better question.
okay, the sky is clear. That's good. And sky's clear as night. Sky is clear tomorrow. A star is out. I reach for one to sparkle in my hand. A star is out. I will not touch you. I'm just a man. Sky is clear tonight. Sky is clear tomorrow. And every night I shut my eyes so I don't have to see the light shining so bright. I'll dream about a cloudy sky, a cloudy sky. That's interesting. So what he's saying here is the sky is clear,
Yeah.
but he doesn't like the sky is clear.
Right. He'll dream for a
Because-
cloudy sky.
He doesn't want his vision clear. See? Every night I shut my eyes so I don't have to see the light. So he wants the day to be cloudy because he doesn't want to see the, you know what I'm saying? He wants
Yeah.
to close his eyes, so he wants things to be cloudy. Which is really interesting because he's saying he closes his eyes every night so he doesn't have to see light.
Yeah. So he doesn't want to see the stars?
I guess he doesn't want to see the stars or the moon, so he wants the clouds to come and obscure the sky.
Okay. Wonder what the stars mean to him.
The star is out.
Because
I
at the
reach
same time, he says, I reach for one to sparkle in my hand.
in your hand. The star is out. I will not touch you. I'm just a man.
You know what it kind of reminds me of when you reach out for a sparkle in your hand? Firefly.
Oh, yeah, true.
Man
Then
was-
he says, but every night I shut my eyes, but now I've gotten them open wide. You've fallen into my hands and now you're burning me. So what was in his hands was a star, right? Because he wanted it to sparkle. But
Or
then
maybe
when he
it's a
put his
woman.
hand on it, it was burning him.
Maybe it's a woman.
Yeah, it's probably metaphorical, but it's a pretty brilliant metaphor. You want the star in your hand because it's shining. The reason it's shining is because of the heat.
Right.
So when you hold on to it, it burns your hand.
Right.
So
yeah.
that's really interesting because there's some things where the goodness or the pleasure is in the act of the admiration itself, not in actually consuming the thing.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of sophistication and discipline to do that.
To do that in the song? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying in your life.
Oh,
To
to
see
know
something
what not to reach out and...
to know the difference between, hey, this is something not to
Well-
consume, but just to be, admired.
Yes. I will say, though, that there are lots of things that when you are looking at them from afar, like we've said it before, that desire is sometimes the greater feeling than actually attaining what it is you desire.
Right.
So that could be for anything. It doesn't matter what you get, but
Yeah, but there's some things that are supposed to be
that's not just like it
unconsumed.
loses. Yeah, it's not like it loses its luster. It burns you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's a brilliant insight on his part. That you know, it's kind of one of those be careful what you wish for thingamajiggies.
Right.
It's like, yeah, this star is sparkly, but it's sparkly because it's trillions of degrees hot. And so now, you know, if you reach it, you're gonna burn. I just think, you know, we were at an art gallery at the, you know, in the Foxborough complex.
It should be. Well, is it up on Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh no, you wanted to edit it all.
Yeah, I wanted to edit it and make it a good video. But like, so, like, art is one of those things where we all know this is not to be consumed in the sense of like, you know, whatever. It's just to be observed and admired from afar. You know what I'm saying?
I think a museum is a better.
Museum's another thing.
Do not touch.
I think that principle goes to like meeting people, like meeting famous people. Like you have a certain perception of them, and then, you know,
Oh yeah.
lo and behold, they make the mistake of being human, and you know, whatever, and then it's like, oh, this guy is terrible, he's horrible, blah 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 blah, and people like. They'll always disappoint you. That's why, like, Tom Brady, like, I don't ever want to meet Tom Brady, because the mindset that I have about him, my perception of him,
You want it to stay just
I
like
want it
that?
to stay just like that. I don't want it to change. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with Head, I didn't care. I was like, whatever. Like, this guy like completely changed my life.
Yeah, I don't think I have any of those.
There's nothing that he could say or do. I don't care. He could, you know, whatever. But it turns out that he's actually a much cooler person than I actually thought he would be. Like, it's unbelievable. So yeah, I just think that principle is there's some things, man, you should just let it be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, it's really interesting because, and I'm not sure I necessarily believe it, but like, I was watching and I'll tell you who it is later. But this dude was like, you could tell that he had a crush on this girl, but he was married, and so he was saying, you know, am I lusting after a flower because I admire the flower? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was basically saying he's a very smart dude and he's very poetic. So it was basically like a big giant, you know, apology, not apology as in I'm sorry, but an apology as a defense for the whole look but don't touch thing, where he was saying, no, I'm not lusting after her, I'm just admiring her beauty.
Oh God.
And obviously from a biblical standpoint, you can't necessarily say that's wrong, because Jesus didn't say don't look at a woman. He says if you look at a woman with lust in your heart. So if the guy is looking at the woman and he's just saying, holy smokes, God really did a good job with that girl, like, I mean, what do you do in that situation?
I don't know. I feel very uncomfortable with that.
I know you do, but what can you do about it? Because he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I guess
my point
in
is,
that
like,
sense,
is it
like,
possible
maybe-
for a man to enjoy the female form, which in my mind is the most beautiful thing in all creation? Is it possible to enjoy that without it being lustful?
I don't know. Somebody
You know what
else's
I'm saying?
wife? Or someone that's not your spouse? Like to...
Well, again, it doesn't say don't look at somebody else's wife. It just says don't covet. Like, if a
Well,
person
no,
says,
I
if a
know.
person says Soraya has like these really beautiful eyes, like, I've trained myself basically not to say anything in the sense that you do have you have uncommonly striking eyes, and so, you know, God just said, well, he's just gonna, you know, it's like the Muslims say about Muhammad, he was 50% of all beauty. Basically, all the beauty in the world, Muhammad had 50%
I get that,
of it,
yeah.
and then Allah distributed the rest to everybody else. So, like, I just think that there's a way to admire that without it necessarily being lustful. I remember the first time you and I talked about it, where I said, well, your beauty reflects, you know, God's beauty as image bearer. But anyway, my point is, like, he wanted the star, he wanted to hold it, But
I think
stars.
the reason I'm having a giant like about it is because
Phoebe Harvey in the house. Hey. Go ahead.
geez, for me, like I think that it's irrational to say that you're not going to see someone that is basically like the peak of human form, and that your mind doesn't say, well, they look good. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's irrational to say that doesn't happen. But at the same time, like, I don't like the idea that you would be seeing another woman thinking, wow, she looks good.
Like you listen to Sammy talk. Sammy the Bull Gravano. I mean, he's gangster. He's a whatever. I mean, he's nobody can test his masculinity, right? And he'll talk about, hey, there's this guy Larry Mazza, and he'll say, oh, good looking guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not a problem. He says
it about. I didn't notice he says it about the guys, but I did.
Yeah, he says it about the dudes all the
women.
time. Like, he'll say this guy's a tough. I mean, his ultimate compliment is tough guy.
Yeah.
He'll say this guy's tough. That's his ultimate compliment. But there's a lot of times he'll be like, oh, good looking guy. You know, like Francis. He's talking about Michael Francis, a good looking dude. So, you know, I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, no, I am sure. I am sure that people can do that. I mean, I've done it. You know, like, for example, when you came to me at church that time, we weren't together at the time. And like, you were basically, you know, your entire church experience, like your beauty was something that you were taught to be afraid of or whatever. And I said, you know, and people were always telling you to dress a certain way to like minimize how beautiful you were, and you know, so the other girls wouldn't be jealous. And then the guys, you know, your guys that you were with were always blaming you for the other dudes' lust issues or whatever.
Yeah.
So we never had a conversation about it. You brought it up to me randomly one time, and I said, well, I mean,
that's because something had just happened right
right.
there.
I said, well, the Bible says, you know, worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness and the beauty of the Lord. And I said, you know, your beauty images God in a very unique way. So why would you put that under a bushel? Now, if I would have sat back and thought to myself, why is she asking you this question? I probably would have answered it differently. But to me, I was just like, why would you put that under a bushel? You're beautiful. That's good. You image God that way. No problem. But of course, there was some context because you started crying and then you went away. Like, what was that?
Well, something had just happened in that building where we were. Something had just happened, and then somebody said something to me about my level of attractiveness from their perspective, and I think that was when I told them, don't comment on my body. But I think that
who said that?
I think it was some person that was there had said something about how, you know, whatever I was, and there was someone there.
Was it like respectful or was it just lustful?
I don't remember because I couldn't really differentiate at that point. It made me feel uncomfortable, and I had always been blamed for if anybody had any sort of lust issue with me or whatever, and until like all the other girls at the cult that I was a part of, they were able to wear stuff that was cute looking, and I was basically dressing in men's clothes.
Right.
So it was like, this is not right. And then they were like, well, it's just, you know, one of the teachers took me aside. She's like, you just have a particularly nice form. And I thought it was nice of her to say that, but it was a very stressful environment to live in because your body is an extension of who you are. And so I started to like reject my own extension because it was causing too much trouble all the time. And then, you know, when situations were not safe, people that should have been protecting me were not protecting me. So then that was like, I kind of blamed I really don't know. It was kind of a messy situation.
Yeah, you blamed your body. You had some real issues with your body, like, in that time period.
Yeah, and I think I'm still working my way out of all that.
Or I just came into awareness of the fact that you had issues with your body.
That's it.
You know, because...
Because...
But evangelical culture is so toxic that, you know, the men, when they have their lust issues, they can't just say, I have lust issues.
Right.
They got to blame you for making them be lustful or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. So the whole Icarus concept, right? Like you're flying too close to the sun. Like you got to understand where your limits are. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's to me like one of the worst stories ever. To me, When I first
Why?
read that story, I was like, this is the worst story of all time. Because it's so true. And it happens so many times. Like, and it's that character flaw where you just have to have that one little thing, or you got to have one little thing extra. You can't be satisfied with what you have. You have to do, it's got to be a little bit farther, you know, and that's a real crazy thing, like the concept of contentment.
Yes.
And
I always think of that verse where Paul said, godliness with contentment is great gain. And so we've got one kid who's impossible to, you know, to discipline because he finds contentment with everything. So, you know, if you ground him, he'll find himself happy there. If you sit him in the chair, he'll find himself happy there. Like,
yeah.
He's a very content person, honestly.
Yeah. He's massively adaptive too. Shout out to Xenar.
Exactly. You should try this tea. It's very good.
He adapts to the situations. But yeah, like, but Mike Patton's vocals, man, like that guy. Ben said that Mike is one of his favorite singers. I had a perception of Faith No More that they were kind of like a pre-nu metal band, because a lot of the early nu metal guys talked about Faith No. And we were talking to Brian about it, like, because they were. I mean, I could say it now. They were supposed to. I don't think I could say it now.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm not
Are
gonna
you
say.
sure?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're a band that influenced, you know, bands like Korn and things like that. So I kind of had a perspective, but all the songs that we've reviewed from this band don't sound anything like that at all. And apparently, this Mike Patton guy is he's like a genius, like. And he just, you know, vocally, I wasn't expecting it, and it's kind of stayed that way. Unbelievable vocalist. So he got a 1.5 points for the song just for that. A little bit repetitive, but I understood where he was going. So what do you give it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit repetitive, but I loved the smooth feel of the song, and I think I've come to the point where I appreciate a lot of good lyrics that I always kind of liked a storyline that would kind of go somewhere. But this to me was very chill sounding, so it was I like the sound of chill. I'm going to go with an 8.9.
Like the sound of chill. Solid 9.23. Really, really, really interesting subject matter in the lyrics. Very strong opening. Faith No More is a crazy band. I'm pretty sure it was the basis for Faith No More that filled in for Fieldy, so shout out to him. So there you are, dear listener. If you're a square and you're in regular YouTube world, then you're just going to have to sit back and wait for us at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later tonight. If you're still on the stream and you're not a square, sit tight, stay where you are, because we are coming right back. Vin out.
Banger. Sorry out.
Gone.